From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Mamata Banerjee has asked her police to increase the height of the barricades around all the police stations, her government offices, etc. So now the height of the barricades, which was first 4 feet, was raised to 6 feet. And then when there were more and more protesters, the height of the barricades was increased to about 8 feet. Then they were increased to 10 feet. And as you can see there, ladies and gentlemen, now Mamata Banerjee has asked the police to increase the height of the barricades to anywhere between 12 to 14 feet. There's a mass of people behind the barricades, and the police's only way to hold the protesters back is to increase the height of the barricades. I am told that the Bengal government is asking for a new set of contractors to come in who will increase the height of the barricades around Nabanna, which is where the state government operates from, around the Lal Bazar police station, the police commissioner's office. So essentially, ladies and gentlemen, in short, it would not be wrong to say that Mamata Banerjee and her government have barricaded themselves. Now, what does this mean? In every major change in the world, whenever a tyrant, a dictator gets completely surrounded by the people, they increase the height of the barricades and they sort of pacify themselves into believing that these barricades will give them comfort, will give them security, will keep the people out. But think about it, viewers. What do you say about a political leader whose only job today is to keep the people out? Day in and day out, Mamata Banerjee spends her entire day deciding how to push back the people, how not to meet people, how not to interact with people, and how to fool herself by believing that where she sits along with all her chumchas in her office, that she has a control over the state. The fact is, she's an object of hate and a person, a political leader who's despised across Bengal and across the country today. Ladies and gentlemen, we only need to read the letter of the protesting doctors written to the Honorable President of India, Draupadi Murmuji. And I truly believe that the President of India needs to intervene in this case, because Mamata Banerjee is only going to keep increasing the height of the barricades. And my appeal as well to the Honorable President of India, Draupadi Murmuji, would be that she should go by the letter and intervene. Only the President can now intervene. If the central government intervenes directly, it will be seen as political intervention. But the President of India, as the conscience keeper of the nation, should intervene in this case. And I would like to read out what was written in this letter by the doctors to the President of India, which tells you the situation in Bengal. Please listen to this, viewers. In between the two extremes lies an organized criminal culture, a criminal syndicate. They're referring to Mamata Banerjee's criminal syndicate, allegedly involved in financial scams, money laundering, bribery, and several rackets. Some of these powerhouses have been apprehended, but most roam free and continue to plague the system. There have been several instances of conflict and outright violence between the peaceful protesters and the members and/or supporters of such infamous lobbies. The fact that the evidence was altered in full view of the state police, as brought up in the judicial hearings of the Honorable Supreme Court, and unwarranted construction started in the premises of the murder scene, the crime scene, as per the approval of the highest authorities, meaning Mamata Banerjee, all serve as testimony to certain malicious agencies at work within the health department. In view of these circumstances, the sense of deep distrust and fear that we feel towards the authorities remains unallayed, and we desperately implore that these noxious elements within the system be weeded out to assure us of a truly safe workplace. Ladies and gentlemen, we must emphasize that today it is 35 days these protests have been on, and the only response from Mamata Banerjee is to increase the height of the barricades, to increase the brutality of the police, to send more notices to the media, to try and attack the doctors, and she started attacking the doctors. Now it's a battle between the doctors and her. What she needs to understand is that there is a lot of frustration in Bengal about her. The doctors are only the iceberg. The doctors are only the spearhead. This is a movement against Mamata Banerjee. Somebody needs to tell her the truth that the people have started hating her corruption, hating the gang rapes, the corruption, the tyranny, all that has happened under her watch. Nobody trusts her. And so this is a mass movement against Mamata Banerjee. Ladies and gentlemen, India against corruption happened when people of India were fed up with the corruption of the Congress. In that case, Anna Hazare was only a spearhead, an icebreak. But the fact of the matter is the public was already very angry with the Congress, Sonia Gandhi, Manmohan Singh. Now today, ladies and gentlemen, the people are very angry about Mamata Banerjee. Nobody is with her. And she needs to get the message. All she's doing is increasing the height of the barricades. That has its own symbolism. Think about it. I come to you with 3 debates tonight. Mamata's started pulling back after offering to quit. We need to keep up the pressure. Debate number 2 this evening. Why the battle over a mosque has become the centerpiece of the fight in Himachal. And at 9 o'clock tonight, Arnab Goswami is out on bail after 6 months. What are the political and legal implications of today's verdict of the Supreme Court? Here are the headlines this Friday evening on the debate tonight. When are you resigning, Mamata Banerjee, or was it just theatrics? The crowds are swelling from people to the BJP and even the CPM now. Everyone today is the opposition in Bengal. Bengal is your opposition, Mamata Banerjee. The nation is your opposition. Are you pulling back from your offer to resign in less than 24 hours? Follow through on something for once, Mamata, for it is your word against the supporters of Abhaya. After Shimla, now major protests erupt in Himachal Pradesh's Mandi as Hindu residents raise their voice against illegal structures in the state. The Chief Minister says that there is no religious angle to the tension in Shimla and Mandi, but can the charges leveled by the locals on the ground be overlooked?
माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भारतीय जनता पार्टी को भी एक बहुत बड़ा संदेश दिया है कि तुम्हें अपनी तानाशाही बंद करनी पड़ेगी। आज माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट का आदेश भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मुंह पे एक कड़ा तमाचा है।
The Supreme Court grants bail to AAP chief and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal 6 months after his arrest in Liquorgate. The bail has been granted with conditions applying. The AAP claims it has been vindicated.
और ये कहना गलत नहीं होगा, जेल वाला सीएम अब बेल वाला सीएम हो गया है।
BJP stinging continuous attack on the AAP and Kejriwal. They say the bail is conditional. Kejriwal's role as the chief minister is basically rendered useless, they say, for he cannot sign any official documents and cannot even visit the secretariat. The BJP says Kejriwal is now the bail CM from being a jail CM. Ladies and gentlemen, there is massive anti-Mamata public movement. Mamata Banerjee is trying to pull back. Yesterday she offered to resign. Today, the uprising against her is only getting stronger. The protests are escalating. And as the visuals showed, she has asked for new contractors to be brought in to increase the height of the barricades across all the areas where the protesters are beginning to gather in larger and larger and larger numbers. Let's debate.
Protests against Mamata have grown louder day after she offered to resign. Mamata's police was forced to put up 9 to 12 feet tall barricades, symbolizing Mamata's growing nervousness.
সোশ্যাল নেটওয়ার্কে অনেক ভুল বোঝাবুঝি হয়েছে, অনেক কুৎসা অপপ্রচার হয়েছে, যারা সাধারণ মানুষ জানতেন না যে এর মধ্যে একটা কালার আছে। মানুষ এসেছিলেন বিচার চাইতে তিলোত্তমার, কিন্তু আশা করি মানুষ বুঝতে পারছেন ওরা বিচার চায় না, ওরা চায় চেয়ার। আমি মানুষের স্বার্থে এমনকি নিজে পদত্যাগ করতেও রাজি আছি।
From the BJP, to the left, to the people of Bengal, to the nation at large.
We will not stop unless the justice is done. We need justice. We want justice. We demand justice.
जल्द से जल्द जितने भी दोषी हैं उसको पकड़ के कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दीजिए।
The pressure on Mamata is growing, and yet, after her offer, Mamata has failed to follow through. The Junior Doctors Front has written a letter to the President of India. They have pointed at the fact that they find themselves unable to work in a quote-unquote turbid atmosphere of fear, distrust and hopelessness. The question now is, will Mamata follow through on her resignation, or was the resignation offer just a lip service?
So, just like to ask you, Tausif, how high can the barricades go? Because they went up to about 14 feet today. That was the biggest issue being discussed in the social media. Why are 14-foot high barricades required? Are you that scared of the left? Where the left was having its protest pictures are on the screen today. Very, very powerful protest by the left. The height of the barricades was 14 feet. Have you barricaded yourself?
You see, the city police is doing every bandobast that is required to maintain the law and order in the city. And they have the right to do so. But what did Supreme Court say today to CBI? A scathing attack by Justice Ujjal Bhoyan, who says that CBI must dispel notion of being a caged parrot and must show it is uncaged parrot.
You know, please don't allow him to
Misuse
digress
of
from the topic.
CBI,
The discussion is not on CBI. The discussion is on Mamata Banerjee. The discussion is on Mamata Banerjee's failure as the Chief Minister. Mamata Banerjee's failure as the Home Minister. Mamata Banerjee's failure as the
Sanju, you must let him make his points. Thank you very
No,
much.
he cannot digress from the topic.
But Sanju, you need to wait. You see, Tausif, my point was, and Fuad, you can take this forward. Has the Mamata government, Fuad, barricaded itself? Have they ended up barricading themselves from the people?
The remark of Supreme
Mamata
Court
government
raises question on the
trying
credibility of CBI.
to evade the concrete questions that the people of West Bengal are raising. The people of West Bengal, under the leadership of various organizations, and especially the doctors who are become one body, you got the senior doctors, the junior doctors, the interns and medical students, they are moving in unison, a picture that was never seen before. And they are raising vital questions which are not being answered either by the police administration or the health department or the chief minister's office. And these unanswered questions are definitely putting Mamata on the mat. And she has got her back to the wall. The police commissioner should resign immediately, because he is not only not answered questions, but it is now evident, and the conversations and the evidence that has come forward, that the police structure apparatus was complicit in trying to cover up whatever happened on the night of the 8th and 9th morning of August in regard to the murder of this medical student. The subsequent activities in the campuses that have come across, the absolute rampant threat culture, the way money was made right from students joining regarding the passing their examination, right up to postgraduate people getting their what you call postings, and doctors who are already employed if they were to move from one district to the other district. The amount of money was supposed to what was being transacted. All this is coming across.
Doctors of Arjika.
Now,
Dr. Fuad will agree.
Tausif,
that the left protesters were facing this barricade.
There are
not the doctors who are sitting and protesting outside.
No, they are still facing. We are facing these barricades.
They are not facing.
Those barricades were there. Those barricades were there for the doctors also.
Who see this as a political
No, Tausif, that's incorrect. The doctors who had moved to Lal Bazar, I was there that night.
Yeah,
Tausif, I was there that night. That night, the barricades were over there. They for the doctors. The whole night, the doctors protested. And they spent the entire night on the road. It's only the day after that the barricades were removed. So those barricades were there for the doctors. Now so please correct yourself. Please correct yourself. The barricades were there for the doctors, and that's the way the state is looking upon anybody who's trying to protest here in West Bengal.
You've got the barricades. We can see from the screen that this is not a doctor.
But the fact of the matter is now we have to be real here. We have to be real here. The fact is that the Advaita, and then I'll bring in the others. Advaita, the protests have not stopped. Somewhere these have captured the pulse, and one of the factors which has come before everyone is that for some reason the police wanted to carry out the post-mortem in a big hurry, and that can only happen through intervention of the Home Minister. The Home Minister is Mamata Banerjee. So why did Mamata Banerjee ask for the post-mortem and the inquest to be conducted breaking the rules after 4 p.m. We have a paper on that. Why did Mamata Banerjee effectively ask for the post-mortem to be conducted after 4 p.m. which is against the rules? Very mysterious questions here, viewers, on the specific role of Mamata Banerjee herself. Advaita, should she have quit by now, taken her offer forward?
I think this raising the height of the barricades and things of that nature show a paranoia which is very dangerous, especially for a person like Mamata Banerjee with her temperament. So it's clear that a popularly elected leader at one point of time is finding herself pushed into a corner, and not by political opponents, but by her own public. And I think this is a very dangerous situation, given that we have seen so much political violence in West Bengal over the years.
Yes.
And also the fact that, this political violence for so long was even, ignored by the people of West Bengal, thinking that it was what happened in politics. It had been normalized to a certain extent. But now when they're seeing it seeping into their own lives, this response has been so visceral. So when the doctors say that we don't feel safe, they genuinely mean it. They're not saying it because they're trying to be hyperbolic. They genuinely mean it because they have seen the spate of violence that has taken place in the state. So I think she's in a very precarious position. She has been trying to create a victimhood around herself. Last time around as well, she's been talking about how she's being personally targeted. But what she doesn't understand is that she is the Home Minister, the Health Minister, and the Chief Minister. So who else is going to be questioned in this matter? And I think, Arnab, frankly, this whole resignation thing was more of an attempt at being a victim of the situation. That nobody, is listening to her, and she's the actual victim. But she's still not getting it.
She's not, because this time, you see, everybody is against her. I'll tell you those who are. Before I go to Sanju, one point, please. Tausif, can you listen to me? Today, she is in a pitched battle with the doctors because she doesn't like the fact that the doctors are holding up. They're not listening to her. Why should they? She is hated by her own MPs. One by one, all are quitting.
Hate is
she is hated by the football fans because she lathi charged both East Bengal and Mohan Bagan. And she's fighting Abhaya's parents who accuse her of being a liar. Who's supporting her? There's nobody with Mamata except, maybe the Madan Mitra types. Sanju, please. Sanju.
Thank you. Arnab, now I waited for my turn for 23 minutes. Let me have my say. First and foremost, I think Advaita used the term paranoia, and I think that absolutely fits the bill when it comes to Mamata Banerjee. She's paranoid, she's desperate, she's clueless about how to tackle the mass uprising against her. I will just read out in 20 seconds a post by Mamata Banerjee at 5 p.m. on 13th September on X, Twitter. It is sad and unfortunate that we have lost 29 precious lives due to disruption in health services because of long-drawn siege of work by junior doctors. In order to extend a helping hand to the bereaved families, state government announces a token financial relief of 2 lakh to family members of each deceased person. Basically, Mamata Banerjee is doing two things. A, she's playing the proverbial victim card. B, she's now trying to actually malign the credibility of the junior doctors and the medical fraternity,
yes,
which is protesting against her incompetence in handling the entire Arjikar medical issue. Look at the kind of words she has used. Even otherwise, she says, I waited for 1.5 hours at Nabanna, but the medics and the doctors refused to meet me. She refuses to acknowledge that the doctors refused to meet her only because she and her stooge, the Chief Secretary Manoj Pant, refused to live stream the proceedings of the said meeting, which was actually agreed upon in advance. And at the nth minute, Mamata Banerjee decided live stream will not happen, but a recorded session will be put out for the benefit of the public and journalists, to which the protesting doctors took offense to. My only point is this very quickly. Udayan Guha, a TMC leader, said, "Hum tumhari ungli tod denge," to protesting doctors and students. Lovely Maitra, a TMC leader, she says that the protesting doctors are butchers. Atish Sarkar, another TMC MLA, says we will do to protesting doctors what actually happened within the premises of Arjikar. Look at the shameful statement, and what was the punishment to him? He was barely suspended for a year. Atish Sarkar has not been expelled by Mamata Banerjee despite threatening doctors and telling, तुम्हारे साथ वही किया जाएगा जो आरजीकर premises के अंदर के साथ हुआ. And look at Kunal Ghosh. He says, so what? It was just a rape. It was not a gang rape. What does Jola Sen say? So what? It's not a big deal. It was just a rape. It was not a gang rape. As if a gang rape is a big deal, but a rape and a murder is not a big deal. Look at the shameless audacity of the entire TMC top brass. I tell you, Arnab, the doctors are protesting because the state health secretary has not resigned, which was their demand. The director of health services has not resigned. The director of health education has not resigned. And the BJP is demanding a polygraph test for Mamata Banerjee, a polygraph test for Vineet Jindal, the police commissioner, a polygraph test for the DGP of West Bengal, Rajiv Kumar, and the BJP is saying that Mamata should not only resign, but let the investigation proceed.
But why can't, one option is, Fuad, why doesn't she call a fresh election? If this issue has become intensely political, can she face an election? Can she, can she face an election, or has the left become stronger?
Arnab, I have a question.
You see,
Mr. Modi
one minute.
See, the question of facing an election and to actually discuss these things at the moment is something that one should not allow the TMC to use, because at the moment the focus demand is for the health department and its officers to clean up their act. The focus demand is the Calcutta police, which has been found complicit. Its head, that's the Calcutta Commissioner of Police, he should resign. The question is, if you keep expanding at this point of time, the issues are going to escalate. I know that. And ultimately, the Chief Minister of State has to take responsibility, which is why, she's played that very, very role very importantly. Her mentor, Narendra Modi, played it a number of times when he said, "Hum to fakir aadmi hai, jhola leke chal pade." करेंगे. So she's given a different what you call twist to that and spoken about it yesterday. You know, in tandem these comments come. But we are moving in a very focused way. We've got evidences that are pinning certain people on the floor, and these people who have already been pinned, and they need to, their head needs to roll. And we've seen the people of West Bengal are actually coming at this point of time in unity across. You've got the cities, you've got the villages, you've got the mofussil, you've got the towns, you've got a language in which the people of West Bengal are speaking, which was never ever heard before. And the situation on the ground is such is that the entire TMC organization, from top to bottom, are absolutely rattled, and they are rattled in such a way that they are not being able to actually face the questions being raised by the people.
Istifa dijiye. It's time for Mamata Banerjee to wake up and
ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, bottom line is Mamata seems to have pulled back from her offer to resign yesterday. She should have resigned.
You would like to throw a lifeline by giving an issue that the TMC.
But Fuad, you're giving the lifeline by having a strong alliance with her in Delhi.
So. The question has to go according to.
The CPM is a bunch of hypocrites. You're sitting here and criticizing Mamata Banerjee on the debate on Republic.
There has
you
been
are
no
part
alliance
of the India Alliance. Why can't you break away from the India Alliance? You're mollycoddling Mamata Banerjee as part of the India Alliance.
Sanju, don't talk to your hat. Nobody considers you seriously anymore on a national network. So the concrete reality in West Bengal is that you've got a people's movement that's developing, a people's movement that's very, very focused, the people's movement which is actually putting the Mamata Banerjee regime on the mat, on the floor. They are not allowing any sort of distraction or any sort of slogan that's going to take away the people's focus as to how the Trinamool hierarchy have ensured that corruption enters into all walks of
viewers,
life
I think
and they are not leaving any quarter.
But
the people
only to conclude now with one thing,
for the TMC to run away from the back door.
Yeah, Fuad, the remarkable thing is Mamata Banerjee's ability for U-turns. She's done a U-turn after offering to quit yesterday. That's where it stands.